how do you keep your buyer from underbidding himself?
No, more about getting listings.
Hmm.
I like listings.
Yeah. When you're on that side of it and you've got three offers to play with, makes the world a lot nicer versus the buyer that you write 10 contracts for because you keep getting outbid. We've been experiencing that too on our side.
Me too.
We had one buyer who wrote 4 offers and finally went through because it was a VA. And finally, on the 4th offer, she gave them full price, asked no concessions, no anything, wrote a letter to them, and because we were competing with another offer, and finally got that one accepted. And then she didn't ask for anything on the Binzer just because she wasn't going to take the risk to lose it.
I love when they do that. The opposite side.
Me too.
48 line items on a Binzer.
I'm doing one of
Not
those
kidding.
today myself up here in the mountains. But this house I have a contract on right now was on the market a year ago, and they took it off because they had to do $60,000 worth of foundation work on it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, 60,000, and that's actually cheap. Some of them can go over $150,000, where you just rather just bulldoze the house.
Start over.
So who we got on here? Oh, Larry. I
Good
feel
morning.
like this is romper room. Good morning.
Angie, I like your new
Does anybody-
hairstyle.
Thank you. Does anybody remember romper room, or am I just
Oh,
too
hell
old?
yes. Oh, hell yes.
This
I'm in
feels
that
like, is I
category.
like, yeah. So I just want to come up and say it. And there is Dan, and there's Heather, and there's Greg. You just
Hey,
see how the swirlies going.
I'll date myself even further. Saturday morning TV instead of for the cartoons and stuff, but in my local town they did a black and white show called Shenanigans,
Oh yeah.
and it was like a kids game show. It was fantastic.
I love shenanigans.
I wish they did that stuff now. Keep kids engaged.
Hey, Angie, by the way, I'll be seeing Courtney on Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, I had
Let's
it on
see.
my calendar to talk to Loretta this week. So maybe I'll wait until you talk to Courtney.
Yeah, let me talk to Courtney on Thursday. And was kind of trying to get a gauge where that's at. I was bugging her last week about it. She's like, hang in there.
I will hang in there.
Okay.
It is worth it. Anybody
Yeah.
have any big plans this weekend?
Any what? I'm sorry?
Any big plans for the Memorial Weekend?
I totally didn't know it was
First.
Memorial Weekend.
I know.
It
Isn't
is.
that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how
They get
many
so
of you
tied
are
up with
coming?
everything going?
You show up to the mountains and I can actually take you out for a drink. Because we're open.
I have plans now.
There you go. And my office remodel's almost done.
Angie, how often are you in Tucson?
In the beginning there in the winter and spring, I was there trying to get everything set up for the Pueblo Properties team there. The intention is to be here during this peak season from mid-April till the end of October, and then head to Tucson to be there for November through April when it slows down significantly here, and there's still a really good market in Tucson. And then in between, because I'm on ALC and different committees, I expect to be down in Tucson at least once a month.
We could do less of that with the Zoom stuff.
Yeah, it's just not the same though. Not though when, with the temperatures you guys have been having down there, Zoom's going to be pretty inviting.
Your best friend.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I used to try and they've got it a lot better because when I was with Biltmore Partners and on ALC there, we would try Zoom meetings, but the way they had it set up is I heard every other word and I really wasn't engaged in the conversations. I was just listening and it really didn't work. So I'm more of hands-on. I like to be in the present.
Well, I really like what we have going on here at Keller.
Good. What specifically?
Well, I was specifically referring, well, overall, but I was specifically referring to how the brokerage just, recognized what was happening, dove right in with setting up Zooms and setting up trainings and making sure that nobody felt like, nobody felt like they were alone and that the brokerage didn't care. I mean, I talked to so many agents where the brokers just, disabled the key cards, locked the place up, and they were on their own at their house, and they didn't like that. That was uncomfortable. So I just appreciate the fact that, I know that if I didn't show my face at some point, somebody would be calling to find out what was going on.
Exactly right.
Perfect.
That's what family does. That's a difference in the culture is that we're family. And in crisis, family pulls together and you can see who has family, who has culture, and who doesn't.
Even the
Perfect,
crazy uncle.
Perfect recruiting opportunity there, Sheree.
Very much so.
I have been talking to some agents. A lot of them, didn't want to jump ship until they gave, the whole thing, a college try. They thought that it was going to be less time than it has turned into be. But I still like the Zoom meetings, even though the office is open again. I still like this, what we're doing here, the ramp ups especially.
Yeah, there's nothing like getting a good kick in the pants to motivate you for the whole day and knowing that you've got, 10, 15 other people that are right behind you. So tell me something good. Who has something really good going on, whether it's personal or business, it doesn't matter.
Well, I'll jump the crickets.
I just bought a boat.
Oh, Ricky, you go, dude. Talk to us.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Well, we bought a boat last year. We've had it in the water one time. It was a 1989 Bayliner. My wife hated it. We bought it cheap. It was a piece of crap. So she decided this year we're going to go up to Cabela's and buy a brand new one.
Oh, wow.
So we did that last weekend.
Where are you? Yeah, it's just the same thing, Angie. Where do you boat at?
The Salt River Project.
Oh, cool.
All those lakes.
Yeah, it was huge at Apache for years. It was like a ritual.
Yeah, it's a Canyon, Apache, all the way up to, and then there's Lake Pleasant. There's pretty good scuba diving in Pleasant, so we'll probably spend a lot of time there.
Nice. I know this past weekend, so many people have escaped up here. Our summer traffic actually started in March, where it felt like it was summer here. Everybody that got furloughed, wasn't working, the kids are out of school, they all came up here and they've stayed up here. And so we took our boat out to Sholo Lake last weekend. I swear it was like spring break on Lake Havasu. That's how busy it was there. Like I am not.
I've been seeing a lot of the
here.
forums. I've been seeing a lot of the boating forums right now, and it looks like Lake Pleasant and all of those have like a 3-mile line to get to the launch ramps. Crazy right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yep, it's crazy, crazy. So luckily my son was wicked good with backing the boat in and was able to sneak between people that we could get in the water.
I'm not quite so good. It's going to be an adventure.
Yeah, if it had been me, it might have taken me an hour, but no, he just whipped it in there right between two boats and they were like, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing better than when I did Apache, we always used to camp on the original boat launch ramp, like literally right on it. You could camp right next to the 2 lanes going in the water. You want to talk about free entertainment for the entire day. We got to the point where we were almost ready to go get scorecards and start giving people scores on how good or bad they were backing their equipment into the water.
Yep.
The best one was the trailer that came unhooked and just went away.
Oh no.
On in the water. Took him a while to dig that out. Forgot to put his latch down on his trailer. It was hysterical.
So have any of you been practicing any kind of circle prospecting scripts? Specifically around just solds? This
Yeah,
would be.
I think the script attention lately here, Angie, has been on what we've been getting through the Bold Pivot, which is Care Call and a couple of those that are in line with what's happening.
Right. Well, and that I think we've been seeing for a couple months now, and I think from what I'm seeing in both markets that I work in, people are loosening up. We still don't have a lot of inventory, so what hits the market goes quickly if it's priced right. Are y'all experiencing that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I decided to work on a circle prospecting script around just solds. And it plays into the multiple offer, et cetera, in competition that's out there in being a seller's market. So who wants to do this one with me? Don't all jump at once.
Come on, guys. You know how this works.
I need to,
So
and
what
you're going to
what-
be the seller, so that's the easy part.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right, and this is Greg. Okay, so ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello, is this Greg?
Yes, this is Greg.
Hi, Greg. This is Angie McMahon, and I'm with Keller Williams. And I'm calling because you probably already know that 123 Main Street in your area just sold. There were 3 offers on the property, and it sold for $1,000 over asking price. Of course, only one of those buyers got the home, which means we still have 2 ready, willing, and able buyers looking to purchase a home in your neighborhood. So the reason for my call today is to see if you, Greg, have given any consideration in selling your home now or in the near future.
Well, I actually talked about it with my wife a while back, and we not really sure, but I think there's a couple neighbors that I know of. They're thinking about selling.
Well, thank you for thinking about that. And I would love to have you share with me who they are, that so potentially I could give them a call as well. We certainly want to keep sellers happy and buyers happy, and getting some properties on the market will do that. So Greg, if you were to ever move, where would you go?
I'd probably move to the northwest side.
Northwest side. What's important about the northwest side to you?
Just got some family up there, so just want to move a little bit closer.
Okay, well, and what would be the ideal time frame to make that happen?
I would say about a year or 2.
Okay, well, certainly appreciate that. Well, it sounds like we've gotten off to a really good start. So let's get to being able to talk about the neighbors that you might have that are interested in selling. Could I get their contact information?
Yeah, sure. It's Ben and his phone numbers, blah, 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 blah.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. And since we've had a great conversation today, I would love to be able to keep in touch with you and keep you up to date with what's going on in the Northwest Market as well as your own personal neighborhood. So if you would share with me your email, then once a month, I'm not going to overload you, but once a month I'll send out a quick report and let you get involved with what we have going on over there. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Great.
That's
Okay.
fine.
So, okay, guys, that's, basically the conversation. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I really liked it. I hadn't thought about that before. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that it has to be your own listing that's sold in order to make this call?
Oh, no.
No,
Doesn't look
that's
like
right.
it.
Keeping tabs of what's going on within our market center, looking at your hot sheets every day in MLS. You may not know what it's sold for, but just even conversations with agents about what's going on with their sales will give you a lot of information about how to approach it with how many offers there were and if it went for asking price or above asking price, those situations.
Also on that note, if you're the buyer's agent and you get beaten on a deal, you have that much more ammo to use in that those scripting calls. And to add some flavor to this that Angie's doing, you can turn this into door knocking too. Just take the contract that you wrote, black out your customer's name, your client's information, keep the offer price, keep the address, keep everything else on there. Make 50 copies of it and walk around your neighbors' houses, neighbors of that community, knock on the door and say, hey, I'm Big Dan Caldwell, Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. My clients put an offer on the house down the street, had multiple offer situation on it. We got beat out. Here's their contract. We are serious buyers. Who do you know I can talk to today that is looking to sell their house? You want to pick up some extra listings.
It's very efficient. When I was working the Bay Area market, and there we would have a minimum of 10 offers, up to 40, 45 offers come in on a home that literally went on the market on Friday. They had open house Saturday and Sunday, and they would accept offers on Tuesday, where they would sit down and, you'd have to do a spreadsheet. And that's how they would take all of those extra offers and go door knocking to try and find another listing because the listings were so short there. So, and right now, take advantage, you have to work within the market. Obviously, Bold is teaching us that right now. So part of that market right now is that it is a seller's market. And I know for a long time in my career, I worked a lot with buyers and never really got into listings. And once I finally made the decision to become a listing agent, your world becomes a whole lot easier to manage. It's much easier to manage 10 listings than it is 10 buyers. Can anybody give an amen to that?
Amen.
Yeah. So, and then you're the one sitting on the other side saying, look, Mr. Seller, I've been able to bring in 3 offers. Let's sit down and figure out which one works best for you. So there's a lot more advantage in it. And we still get to work with buyers, but having that mentality of going after a listing, especially in a seller's market, is worth the extra time and energy to figure out how to do that. So what I'd like to see, if any 2 of you that are here right now would like to work on that script, just going from memory of what I said, to give it a try. Anybody bold? Who's bold?
I'm not bold, but I'll give it a try.
Okay. And so you are going to be the agent who wants to be the seller.
Charity does.
All right, Charity.
Okay, what are you doing again?
You're going to be the seller, and you're going to receive a phone call from an agent, and just follow along.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. I'm Teresa Zizak with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm good. I'm sorry, who are you again?
My name's Teresa Zizak. Last name's a little bit difficult to pronounce. It's Croatian. But I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. And I didn't know if you knew or not, but one of your neighbors' homes just sold. And they got an excellent price for it. However, there were 3 other buyers interested, and they didn't get it. But they are really wanting to get a home in your neighborhood. Do you know of anyone who would like to sell? Because they are really, really wanting to get a home there in your beautiful neighborhood.
You know, you should call my next door neighbor. I don't know if they're wanting to sell, but it'd be nice if we got new neighbors.
Well, I will take that in mind. Yeah, thank you. And I'll give them a call and see if they're receptive. Do you happen to have their contact information?
No, unfortunately not, but they're to the right of us.
To the right. Okay. All right. That helps. I can look it up. Yeah. Awesome. Well, and have you and your family thought about moving in a different neighborhood or downsizing or upsizing or anything?
No, we're perfect right now. I have some friends that might want to move into the neighborhood.
Oh,
hey,
okay.
they could move next door.
Well, that is a possibility. It's always great to pick your neighbor. That's for sure. Awesome. Well, how about if I give you my email address and you can email me their contact information if you don't mind?
Yeah, perfect. I'll do that.
Great. All right. And just highlight which one you would rather live next to. All right. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate all your help, and I will, reach out to your friends, and hopefully we'll get some listings in your neighborhood, because it looks like there's a lot of interest. So if you know any of your other neighbors you would like to see move, just let me know and I'll contact them and try to encourage them to do so.
Yeah, thank you, Teresa. I will.
All right. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fantastic.
Hey, Teresa, the only comment that I would say is great job, but rather than you giving your email, ask for their email. So one, you have the contact, and then you can respond back to them is what I would change.
Yeah, I thought about that once I said it, but yeah. Thanks, Jason.
Another suggestion, because you have a challenging last name, and a couple years ago I did too. So it's easier just to say, hey, this is Teresa. And then as things progress and you've developed that rapport and you're exchanging information, they're going to see that name, see your last name. But to keep the conversation flowing and connect, just introduce yourself as Teresa. And
okay, great. That does help.
Yeah, that you don't really need to spill it out, because my maiden name was Zarnowski, and people are like, Wadowski? Yeah, Wadowski. So anyway, it's smoother to do that. So she gave you the next door neighbor, and she didn't give you their contact information, which a lot of people won't, because they don't want to feel, they've pinpointed them, or especially if it's in the situation where they want the neighbor to move. Then what options do you have?
Well, I can look their information up and find out, and through the county information, or I can drive out there and
you can go knock on the door, do a pop. Anybody else have some input?
The other option is, since she doesn't like her neighbors, has she ever thought about making the move? If for whatever reason that you can't get the neighbors to move, and then go into the same thing where you asked it, if you were to move, where would that be? And what timeline would that be? Why is that important to you?
Right. And that's a great way to get her email to say, hey, let's stay in touch, because I understand you want to stay in your neighborhood and try to get somebody else to move in. But if it doesn't happen and you decide to be the ones to pick up roots, I want to be there to assist you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, good points.
Well, thank you for being bold and standing up and doing that, especially when you've only heard the script one time.
We got time for one more. I think the next one needs to be Kendra's the agent, Robin is a seller. Just saying.
Let's do it.
You good with that, Kendra?
Yeah. Is it the same kind of script
Yeah.
Yep.
as this one?
Yep.
Okay.
Same script.
I'm ready, Kendra.
Okay.
Ring,
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Kendra. I'm with Keller Williams of Southern Arizona. How are you doing today?
Hi, Kendra. I'm doing well. My name is Robin.
Awesome. I just sold a house in your neighborhood, and I just wanted to let you know that there was a lot of interest in the area, and that everyone really loves your neighborhood. And I was wondering if you had any interest in, selling your home and moving into a new neighborhood, or if you knew anybody who was interested in selling, because we had a lot of buyers interested in your location.
Ah, yes. Well, I really love living here in this neighborhood. I do know, though, just one street over, I was going for my walk the other day, and I know that a relative of the owner is sick, and so they're trying to find renters for their house because they have to move back to Colorado for a little while.
Oh, okay. Do you happen to have their contact information so that way I can better help them?
So I don't know it offhand. I know their name, though. It's Bob and Barbara Jones.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, I will try and reach out and see if there's anything I could do to better assist them to be able to accomplish that goal. And if you have anything else that you come across, may I go ahead and take your information so we can reconnect in the future?
Certainly. My email is robinfryman@gmail.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, I really enjoyed speaking with you, and we'll reconnect in the future. I really appreciate your assistance.
Oh, sounds good. Have a nice day, Kendra.
You too. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Input. Who has input?
I thought it was great, Kendra, that you got her information. Awesome. Good job.
I don't know if you guys think differently on it, but when you mentioned how everybody loves their neighborhood, and then so you kind of automatically put up a wall that I know I have a great neighborhood. Why would I want to sell? So I would say that a lot of people have shown interest in the neighborhood, not because you have such a great neighborhood. Is I guess the only wording that I would change, and then also go back to them as if they were to make a move, when would that happen, and where would that be, when would that be, and why would that be?
Yep. Well, I think part 2 of the conversation is about connecting with them and building a rapport. Because a lot of times people aren't going to tell you the whole truth in the beginning. They don't want to, be pushed into something else. And so as you develop that rapport and, explain what drew you to the neighborhood, how long have you lived in the neighborhood? Those kinds of things. Well, if you were to ever move, where would you move?
What secrets can you tell me about the neighborhood? People
Yeah,
love.
exactly. Yeah. So, because as you develop that connection, then they're going to trust you and be more open and would want to do business with you. So it's not just a bullet point of questions, because you're never going to develop the rapport. And that's making that connection is the critical key to moving forward in your business. Is you got to connect first.
Could we also be offering to tell them the value of their home, seeing if they'd be interested in knowing the market value for their home?
Absolutely. And that's the way to get their email address for sure. Yep, that's a great offer. And I'm going to throw something out here that I learned several years ago when it comes to a home values report, that kind of thing. I switch that up and I call it an equity report. When you hear the word equity rather than value, that's letting them know the difference of, you know, where they've started from and what they may owe on it now. And it just seems to garner more people willing to engage in getting an equity report on their home.
Interesting.
I've used that term a lot more now, and it gets a lot better response.
Yeah, it really does.
Well, great job.
Go ahead.
Great, just saying, great job.
Yeah, I really appreciate the fact that you were very engaged and willing to work on it, because it's one thing for me to, you know, to spit out a script, but the big part of it is actually practicing it. And when you don't even have it written down in front of you, I would would suggest that you take the next 5 minutes and write it down while it's fresh in your mind, or type it into your computer and save it under a scripts tab so that you can always go back to it. And if anybody wants a copy of the script, the actual script that I have, just email me and I'd be happy to send it out to you.
Awesome.
I have a question for you, Angie.
Uh-huh.
I was asking, so when you going off of your scripts, like this one here, obviously before you make the call, you know what type of call you're making, and then do you have that script in front of you, or what's your routine of making your call?
Absolutely. So my day consists of, you know, getting in to the office at 7:30, checking my email. And at 8 o'clock, I am going to gather who I'm calling, knowing what script I'm going to need. And then from 8:30 to 9, I'm practicing it. I literally am practicing it and getting the inflections proper, all of those things, so that I can start at 9 o'clock and do my prospecting from 9 to 11. That is my day. You need to be prepared. You don't just sit down at 9 o'clock and say, okay, I'm going to make calls, because if you're not ready, you'll never make the calls. And so literally it's on the calendar of 8 o'clock, who am I calling? 8:30 script practice, 9 o'clock is calling, prospecting.
So would it be like today, for instance, you're only going to do circle prospecting for that neighborhood, or like for your first 2 hours, you're going to be on that same call, and then next call you could be looking for buyers or listers? That's what I'm asking of.
And yeah, in that 2 hours, I can be calling 3 up to 4 different types of calls. That's why I have that half hour to practice and know which ones I'm going into, and having my objections available at my hand as well. You know, because a lot of times I'll first start out on my program that I pay a subscription for, that gives me data of people that have canceled, expired, for sale by owners, those kinds of things. And those are all different scripts. And then the script of who I'm reaching out to in my database, that sphere of influence, that's a different script. If I'm calling agents for referrals, that's a different script. And I could make many of those calls all in that 2 hours. So if that's the point of being prepared, so that you can maximize efficiency during those 2 hours of calls. Make sense?
And the other thing that's good about that is that you get into a call and what you get back from the other person or the person on the other end of the phone flips it to some other type of script. When they're like, well, no, that's, we're not interested in moving or whatever, or again, I've had many times where the respondent all of a sudden flips it to something else. You have to, off the top of your head, be ready to float to something else. I remember the guy in San Diego that we had a video of from the first Bolt thing that we watched him do a call to a for sale by owner. But in that call, he was flipping his scripts back and forth between 2 or 3 different things in order to handle the objections that were coming at him.
Yeah, always have your objection handlers readily available to you, and be familiar with them. You have to know which page to flip to be able to get it right. And none of us are going to memorize all of them and be able to spit them out on a moment's notice all the time. I mean, there's certain ones you get used to saying, but even the people who are doing this constantly that's why they have them out. And it's like I'm sitting here, I've got 3 scripts right here that I'm going to be working on today. And when I start making my calls at 9 o'clock, and one of them, it may sound silly, is a Yellow Pages script.
What are those? What are Yellow Pages? No, I'm just kidding.
Mine was just delivered, but I'm in a small town. So yeah, they still call it Yellow Pages scripts, but, and we still get them. So, it's a great one as well. Y'all did great today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angie.
You're welcome. You all have a wonderful day and make your calls.
Thanks.
Thank you.